Hey guys, guess what? The charts are actually pretty interesting right now.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now.
I honestly have no idea what's going on right now, mainly due to the album bomb apocalypse that happened for a month straight. With so many albums coming out, of course the charts are going to be a complete mess. Nobody expects them to not be. But does that mean that the charts have 100% improved? No. Also, the reason why it took so long is because I'm taking notes from some of my classmates on how to improve my work. And here's some of the suggestions that they provided.
More clickbait thumbnails. Get hot girls. Stop being such a loser. Review Shark Tale.
Snap your fin right on it. Snap it. You're not snapping it. Oscar. Oh, hey, don't sweat it, Sykes. A lot of white fish can't do it.
Make the videos quicker.
So let's get it snappy. Snappy.
Haven't I made it obvious? Haven't I made it clear?
Of course this is in the top 20. I didn't expect anything less from America. This song still sucks in all the same ways that it did back in March, but my god, am I getting even more sick of it. The lyrics are still bitter, the production's still lazy, and most of all, the personality is so annoying.
So don't go look at me with that look in your eye.
But you know what, I hope the Marshmallow actually improved. Let's see what he's made since. Yeah, no, moving on.
It's you, babe, and I'm a sucker for the way that you move, babe.
I cannot stand this song for a multitude of reasons. Camela's voice is absolutely grating, especially when she does the pre-chorus.
Nicotine, heroin, morphine.
The production is standard, the lyrics are bland, everything is stupid and bland. Or nothing from Havana. Instead of having an interesting production that suits her voice, she goes for the most typical pop beat possible, which doesn't suit her at all and sounds completely unbearable. And she goes for those high notes, which I could respect if she didn't sound so bad while doing it.
I'll never be the same.
Listen, I know that she's just starting out as a soloist, but she needs to improve, and I think she knows it.
Up. Turn it off.
It's meant to be, it'll be, baby, just let it be.
Yeah, this has shrunk on me for multiple reasons. One, it sounds like every other pop country mashup ever, and it sounds boring. There is nothing going on. Not in the lyrics, not in the production, not vocal melodies. There is absolutely nothing that neither of these artists have done before. They took out all the personality from Bebe Rexha, turning her into a shell of herself, and Florida Georgia Line are decent enough, but on the pop ed, they just removed them.
Lay on back and relax. Kick your pretty feet up on my dad.
I'm not a fan of Florida Georgia Line at all, but you can't just take them out when they're such a big part of your song. These guys actually participate in the story and get their own verse and chorus. If anything, they should be sharing the song with Bebe, not being a sideline. But yeah, this is pretty bad. And if we get a pop country stupid mashup hit every single year, I'll start to get angry. Well, Migos are back.
Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Woo.
If I'm just being honest to myself, this is pretty much the most average Migos song I've heard in a while. The production is alright, and the verses except for Takeoff are kinda eh. And then we have Drake, who completely phones in his performance, like usual. I mean, he's not terrible, he's not Lil Uzi Vert, but you can tell that he does not care. And when the main reason your song got big is really phoning it in, then you don't really care. And speaking of Drake,
New whip got no keys. Tell him my clothes no starch, please. Soon as I nut, you can go.
this is pretty much the most generic song in the entire top 20. The only reason why this got any momentum whatsoever is because Drake is on it, and honestly, he's the best part about it.
The dash is digi, the schedule busy, my head in a hoodie, my shorty a goodie.
His verse is decent if he sounds even more checked out than he was in Walk and Talk It. He has a lot of good rhymes, and he does have a decent flow, but then Lil Baby comes in.
Wham, bitch on them, baby.
Nice, you got paid for that. I'm going to respect that. And hey look, we get even more Drake.
God's plan, God's plan.
I'm sorry, but I had no idea what to feel about this for the first month it was released. And it's really bland. The lyrics are actually well done, talking about Drake's legacy and what he can do to preserve it, but everything else is just underwhelming. Verses and chorus sound exactly the same as each other, so there's really no distinction as one goes into the other. It's 100% standard and boring, which is really disappointing for Drake. So the production, for the most part, uses the same sample over and over again, and it gets obnoxious, especially when you have to hear it on the radio 5 million times a day. So this would be an alright song if it wasn't for the overplay. How did this song get overplay, exactly? Wow, Zed ripped himself off. This is literally a better version of Stayin' Starving. And while that sounds like something completely horrible, the end result doesn't sound that bad. And Maren Morris is Maren Morris, so of course she sounds amazing. But everything else is just typical commercial fodder, which is why they got used in the commercial. Thanks, Target. It's not anywhere close to being the worst, but I feel underwhelmed.
So why don't you just meet me in the middle.
I've grown on this in a slight sense. The production is actually pretty great, and Ed Sheeran is still a charismatic performer. I was just so mad that Galloway Girl couldn't have had as much success as this song. Honestly, Ed Sheeran, this is pretty average, but I don't blame you. Well, stay with me, guys. It's time for more Drake.
901 Shelby Drive, look alive, look alive.
Look Alive is the best Drake performance of the year, mainly due to the fact that not only does he have energy, he has some pretty fire lines.
I've been gone since like July, niggas acting like I died.
This would be great, except that he's not the main artist of the song.
But I bitch come through, you and you.
So forgettable that you often think that he's not a part of the song when he comes in.
My weapon be the instrument, I blow you like a flute.
Honestly, I shouldn't detract that much, but he's the main artist of the song. If he's not good, then the whole song pretty much fails. I'm not going to blame Drake at all, he was great on this song, but Blockboy GB let us down so hard. Great, now I have to get the anger of BTS fans. BTS aren't really special as a boy band or a K-pop act, so they both kinda mesh together. Earlier this year, they released a Mic Drop, which is actually a pretty alright song. Besides that stupid designer feature, I thought the song was catchy and fun. And this is kind of a similar blend of K-pop. I like the melody of the chorus, and it kinda sticks in your head, but overall the song doesn't really leave a lasting impact. The lyrics are decent enough talking about a fake relationship, but overall it's just kind of there. I don't know what's with me. Is it because I don't like K-pop, because I don't think these guys are capable performers, or is it just because the song is not appealing to me? But clearly this is not going to stay. This was clearly a genius move by BTS's marketing team to release it with the album so we can get in the top 10. Honestly, I shouldn't really be talking about this, but here I am, talking about BTS out of all things. When would he even be 21? Oh, I don't get to talk about country. I mean real country.
Be careful with me.
Well, this is an interesting direction for Cardi B, and not one I can say I 100% like. The production style in the Lord L sample just does not work at all. It sounds super weak and flat, and it doesn't really suit the aggressive tone that this song kinda has. It makes it seem kinda like a horror song. And the lyrics are actually really great, describing how Cardi B has distrust and how she can really do the same thing, but she chooses not to.
I could've did what you did to me to you a few times. Find a nigga, fuck him, you would've been pissed.
It's legitimately interesting, and unfortunately the production doesn't back it. Now obviously, it's not the best thing she's made, but I can respect the lyrical prowess even though she didn't really write it.
Be careful with me.
Nobody get your motherfucking roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't want no slow song.
Okay, I know exactly what you're thinking. Why is this Drake song better than God's Plan when it doesn't have nearly the same lyrical prowess? You know why? Drake actually sounds alive for once.
It's a real one in your reflection. Without a follow, without a mention. You
Surprisingly, he gives this Lauryn Hill sample the amount of energy needed to carry through the entire song. And just because they're not as good as God's Plan doesn't mean that they're not good. He talks about how girls don't need to suck up to men and they can live independently and strong. I mean, sure, it doesn't work that well since it's a man saying that, but it's better than Christina Aguilera. Sure, the Lauryn Hill sample again runs through the entire song. Sure, it's choppy. Sure, that random guy comes out of nowhere. Yes, the song is actually really a mess, especially with that weird chopped off segment at the end. But you know what? I don't care. This is my show. Well, it's time to talk about Cardi B again, and honestly, this is pretty good. The production here is absolutely amazing, and it makes the song sound great, especially with that sample. Cardi's verse sounds great, along with her hook, which actually legitimately gives up the energy that it needs. Again, no groundbreaking lyrics here, but it does the job it needs to do. Then Bad Bunny does a decent flow, yet the lyrics in his verse are surprisingly awful in a fun way. And J Balvin actually gives a pretty decent performance with a lot of good singers. Again, this isn't really Shakespeare at all, but for a fun, enjoyable brag rap song, this is really fun. If Bad Bunny wasn't on the song, this would honestly be in a great tier, but that's unfortunate. This is honestly a pleasant surprise that I didn't see coming from anywhere. I really enjoyed the song because it's short and sweet. It's about 2 minutes long and he uses every second to its complete advantage. Bozzy is a competent singer and he actually is able to pull off the emotions that he needs to. The production is whimsical to make the love story work, even though the lyrics kinda make it iffy. Yeah, that sounds really romantic to me. Despite that, the rest of the lyrics are really sincere and really lovely. It's really nice to hear a song this carefree and wonderful in the charts, even though that it doesn't really seem complete. I would enjoy this even more if it had some sort of conclusion, because it doesn't really have a real ending. If Bozzy decided to do a remix with someone, it would actually add to the overall loving feel and give it some more length, but it's overall good for what it is. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Why is this Imagine Dragons song in a good tier? How is that even possible? Well, I have one reason. Rodrigo.
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I'll do whatever it takes.
Verses are kinda but Rodrigo really sells it for me. Besides the song though, I really want Imagine Dragons to stop. They really need to stop everything that they're doing.
I'll do what it takes.
Out of all the songs in the top 20, this is by far the biggest surprise. LMI is an R&B star for a little bit before getting signed on to DJ Mustard's label, so that's lovely. But surprisingly, a DJ Mustard track is actually pretty decent, mainly due to LMI, but he does a decent job with the production, though I can admit that it's mainly used to ride Ella's voice, which is magnificent. You can totally tell that she's trained and professional and she works well. The lyrics are pretty decent, talking about this relationship that isn't really strong, but Ella stays there because of the, you know. Though I wish this actually had a little bit more bite to it. Ella kind of plays it too safe and too happy. Kind of makes the song overall hollow. It sounds great and the lyrics are decent, it's just that it kind of feels underwhelming, but in a decent way. Good job, DJ Mustard, you picked good. Psycho is a critically solid song from Post Malone, which is something I thought I wouldn't be saying again after Rockstar. The production is perfect to vibe to, while also fitting Ty and Post's voices perfectly. Surprisingly enough, this is the perfect summer jam track, and I hope it actually gets to #1 eventually. Spoilers, it did. Sure, the lyrics may be average at best, but the overall atmosphere kinda makes up for it in a huge way. Yet again, Post actually surprises me with the amount of charisma that he's able to put into his songs, and this is no exception. When he belts out, it doesn't seem forced or painful, it seems pretty natural, and it sounds great. Then we have Ty Dolla $ign, who does have that one line. But after that line, he surprisingly again gives a decent performance, especially with the good beat that he's provided with. Especially when he really tries at the end of his verse. This is a really good song, but I can't really call it great due to the lyrics not really standing out that much from the rap crowd. But speaking of great, we actually have 3 songs in the great tier. Let's get into them. I'm so excited. Well, Shawn Mendes is clearly improved. First up, the build-up in the verses are absolutely impeccable, as it keeps riding and riding towards the chorus, which blows up. I love this type of progression, and it really works here. Is there somebody who could help me? Shawn gives one of his best performances that spotlights why he got famous in the first place. You can tell his emotion, and it sounds really, really impressive. The lyrics are decent, giving up an overall impression and the message that the song's trying to go for, while not being totally special. What it does do is build building blocks towards the overall feeling of the song, giving it a more emotional and uplifting feel than some of Shawn's other music. Before his latest album, a lot of his songs were devoid of personality, sounding like teen pop garbage. I love how him and Charlie Puth transitioned their music to have more style and more substance at the same time. But of course, America still prefers the garbage side of them. I don't get America, but you know what, it's fine. This is a great song, and Lost in Japan better be the next single. Well, yeah, no surprise, Childish Gambino made a great song, whoop-de-doo, but this is a bit more interesting than normal. First of all, I have to separate this from the video. I know it's a great video, but come on, it makes it harder for me. Now, this is a very interesting direction for Gambino, which kind of combines his 2 previous styles and kind of mushes them together in a hybrid. During the chorus, Gambino has a more down-to-earth feel similar to Because the Internet days, along with a more urban production that kind of suits it and the overall mood it's trying to present.
Look what I'm whipping up. Look how I'm geeking up. Hey, I'm so fit.
But for the rest of the song, he does Awaken My Love style, which creates great contrast whenever he would switch between the chorus and the verses. This song doesn't really have much of a structure. Content on the surface isn't as special as the video, but when you actually dig deeper, there's a lot more context here. In the chorus, there are lines that lead on to the distraction part, like,
look what I'm whipping up. Look how I'm geeking up.
Also, the singing parts, especially from Young Thug, all kind of have an underlayer beneath them. Another interesting part is that he talks about certain problems in America, but then he just brushes them aside for the next thing. And the context is still there, especially with the ad-libs from other rappers kind of showing for the overall feel and a little bit more self-awareness from each of them. Everything else about the song, though, is awesome. Gambino will always be amazing, whether he's singing or rapping. His certain style is a breath of fresh air, and I'm happy to see it back. But my favorite part about this song is the production, because my god is it great. During the singing bits, it's very subtle, building up its time until it blows up during the chorus and has a more urban style, making it feel darker and rich with atmosphere. Again, a great contrast that serves for the message of the song very well. But I guess the gunshots really do help with the overall immersion, so if you really wanted to listen to this perfectly, I would say listen to the actual music video. Not to mention that the final breakdown is honestly one of my favorite moments of the year so far. so happy this actually not only got to #1, but stayed there for 2 weeks. That's great. The more Childish Gambino we can get, the better before he goes away. And the #1 song that you probably will all disagree with, but anyway.
I'm loving, I'm living, I'm picking it up, I'm picking it up, picking it up. Loving, I'm living, so we turn it up.
I know, This Is America has a lot more going on than this song. Heck, In My Blood seems to have a bit more going on, but this is a perfect example of a great pop song. The way that this sounds is absolutely astounding. It just plays with the melody so well, and it keeps going in different places. This is the perfect demonstration of melody and song structure. It starts out with a slow build-up, reminiscent of some of the songs from the 80s, 70s, and possibly early 90s. But it takes the elegant beat and kind of switches it up for a faster pace, and it feels perfect. Ariana blows the song right out of the water. My problem with Ariana Grande is that she kind of seemed like a lesser Mariah Carey. Yes, she had a strong voice, but she didn't know how to control it per se. There are several times in a lot of her songs where she oversins, and it makes the song feel either confusing or hard to follow.
Like a deadly fever, babe, on the highway to hell. All that you got, skin to skin, oh my God.
But here she just does a perfect performance. It doesn't feel oversung or undersung, it feels exactly in the middle. Perfect. It's a great pop song. It might not be the best song of all time, but it didn't really need to be. For the job it had to do, it did the best it could, and honestly, that's worth the best of the week for me.
Picking it up, loving, I'm living, so we turn it up. Yeah, we turning it up.
And with that, the overall score is... Wait, 58 out of 100? An actual decent score? Oh my God! See you guys next time when... I guess I'm gonna have some bad dreams tonight.